I can show you, like, I have a nice car, I have a nice house, I have a lot of money that I have like in my hand right now, but I'm only showing you my assets. I'm not showing you my liabilities. So what you don't know is that, oh, I actually owe this guy $10 million and I owe this other guy $20 million. Even though I have 10 cars right now in front of you, I have $5 million in front of you, my net worth is actually negative because I owe people $20 million. So So today we're going to talk about something pretty critical to the whole crypto ecosystem, something that you guys have to understand, and something that I feel very, very strongly about. And I think this might save you from future rugs in the exchanges. So what is this topic? Well, the topic is about proof of reserve. So recently, with the collapse of FTX and all of these other crypto businesses, they all collapsed one after another. A lot of exchanges come out with this idea of having a proof of reserve system, of a way to publicly say or prove that they actually have the fund in their system in order to, maybe pay out to the customers if needed. It basically is like a fact that's saying that, hey, we have the money that we claim we do, and here's a hash in the blockchain. You can go there and check it out. Here's our wallet, and here's the amount of balance we have at this point of time. And we will do regular snapshots via this proof of reserve system in order for you to have confidence in ourselves that we actually do have that money to back up what we say. So one of the big companies that does that recently is Binance. So after the collapse of FTX and after Vitalik posted a blog about the need for a proof of reserve system, Binance came out with this message here saying, hey, we released our proof of reserve system. This is just 2 days ago. And below you'll find the first batch of audits. So this is just for BTC holding for now. So, the amount of BTC they hold, the amount of Ether they hold, and the amount of all the other coins that they hold. So for now, they say the reserve ratio is 1:1. So this means that they actually have over 100% collateralization of their reserve compared to the customer's balance. So this is the amount that customer deposited into the exchange, and this is the amount that they have. So apparently they have a bit more than what the customers have, so they should be okay from the bank run. So that's what they say right now, and they provide links to what these proof of reserve means. But I have a problem with that. So here's something interesting. CZ, well, he pledged a full transparency to Merkle tree. So Merkle tree is something, they like to use this word in order to make it sound fancy, make it sound technical. But all this does is pretty much just hashing a set of large data into a specific small hash that you can actually trace back. So it's pretty popular in like GitHub if you're a programmer. Well, pretty much the whole blockchain system is Merkle based, Merkle tree based. So Binance, there's something that's very alarming that they said. So they say that typically we need a third-party auditor to be involved. Unfortunately, our number one third-party auditor was kind of busy as they are also the auditor for FTX reserves. So this is what Binance CEO said. This is what CZ said. So the auditor for FTX is the same auditor for Binance. And you know how that turned out for FTX. So this should worry a lot of you if you are in Binance. Personally, I think Binance is kind of sketchy. One is that they are not allowed to operate in the certain jurisdictions in the United States, like the New York State. That's actually the same for FTX. They weren't allowed it because New York State has very, very tough law for people to follow if you want to operate. And another thing is that Binance has been shifting, their headquarters all over the world. They don't even have a headquarters. But they've been doing all these things around the world just to dodge regulation in some places in order to operate business. So they are kind of sketchy to me, and I probably don't want to invest, even though they are one of the biggest exchanges in the world. So Kraken CEO called that out. After Binance released the audit, Kraken is another exchange, crypto exchange, and the CEO of Kraken call out Binance for something, which is something that I feel the same about. So Jesse Powell is the CEO of Kraken. So he says, I'm sorry, but no, this is not proof of reserve. This is either ignorance or intentional misrepresentation. The Merkle tree is just hand-wavy bullshit without an auditor to make sure you didn't include accounts with negative balances. The statements of assets is pointless without liabilities. That last sentence there is something I truly agree with. So this is simply, people who ought to know better, journalists, especially those who take the time to understand this before overselling the misleading customers. So to me, it sounds like a bit more misleading. So what he says here is true. Reserve means the asset minus liabilities. Again, reserve equals assets minus liabilities. Reserve does not equal a list of wallets. And that is what Binance is producing here. It's a list of wallets with how much money is in there. They're just providing a list of wallets. But we want to know what is your current assets. You have your assets. I can show you, let's say I have I can show you I have a nice car, I have a nice house, I have a lot of money that I have in my hand right now, but I'm only showing you my assets. I'm not showing you my liabilities. So what you don't know is that, oh, I actually owe this guy $10 million and I owe this other guy $20 million. Even though I have 10 cars right now in front of you, I have $5 million in front of you, my net worth is actually negative because I owe people $20 million. So that's the whole point. Liability is what you owe other people, and assets is what you have in front of you right now. So you need to know what the net worth is for an exchange. I don't want to know how much assets you have because that's totally pointless. And that's exactly the same thing happened to FTX. They say that, hey, they have $16 billion worth of things. But little did they know that they actually gambled away, all of that fund by using the asset as a collateral for their gambling. So proof of reserves is useless if you don't show your liabilities. And that's the point I want you to read 10 times and put it in your head. So for exchanges to come out and show you things like that, it's actually pretty pointless. There's really no reason. I don't need to know how much Bitcoins you have. If you don't even have the basis of it, basic amount, then it's really pointless. This shows me, yeah, you have the Bitcoin, but how much Bitcoin are you, how much do you owe other people? You can show me how much money you have, but you can't show me how much money you owe other people. So that's why I have even more belief in companies that are public in the United States. So Coinbase, for example, they are a public company. So they are required by law to disclose every single thing they have, how much money they owe, how much money they have, and they had to go regularly through auditors, accredited auditors, to show all of that is correct. So every quarter they file reports. It's called 10Q. So this is a reports of their holdings at some point, and you can open it. It's all public, and you can see how much money they have, and how much assets they have, and then how much liabilities they have. So they tell you exactly how much money they have and how much they owe. And that's exactly what all of these exchanges need to do in order to restore confidence in your users. And of course, you're not going to have, Binance is not a public company. They don't have the obligation to show you all this data. They can just go, because they are a private company, they can just say, hey, trust us, bro. And since we can produce something like this that Coinbase produces, we're just going to show you this, proof of reserve system based on blockchain, whatever, to show you how much money we have. But we're not going to show you our liabilities. So again, I want to call on all exchanges to release your liabilities as well as your assets, because that's the true value. That's the true number that users should worry about, not the amount you have right now. I want to know how much you owe and what is your net worth in the system. So with that said, I hope I have my points come across for you. I hope you understand my point and why it's important to have both assets and liabilities audited. And with that said, I hope to see you guys in the next video.